Okay, all you need to do is to reach out to us on our official website, tutorial.net, and use the WhatsApp button on the top right hand corner. Send us a direct message. I'll be happy to hand you over the keynotes of the course, MAC115. And as it is next semester, let's ensure to join the private classes early. As much as we can do that, the better it is for us to move at a very decent pace, covering all courses without being under unnecessary duress. According to the thumbnail, it says Africa Communication System. All right. And like I said yesterday, African communication system is embedded in the richness of African culture and heritage. All right. African culture and heritage. Now, this can be described as that form of communication as the African Communication System, ACS. It can be defined as that form of communication that has its roots in African environment. It has its roots in African environments. Rooted in African environment. Okay, it is the original. All right, it is original in African locality and to the natives. This is the communication system that the natives, all right, of African soil cherish so much. It is the only original and veritable communication system, all right, highly acknowledged and held in so much esteem, high esteem by the, all right, natives. It has been referred to variously as traditional and indigenous communication. All right, traditional, all right, and what we refer to as indigenous. All right, communication. Are we together? So it is what it is. According to Wilson in 1987, Wilson is of the opinion that when we refer to the African communication system as a kind of traditional communication, it is said to be a continuous process of information dissemination, all right? Entertainment, education, used in societies which have not been socially dislocated by Western culture or other external influences. Indeed, you can say a whole lot of external influences has really affected the roots, the origin, the heritage, and culture of the Africans. All right, but that does not mean that it has completely or totally eradicated, all right, ACS. You still have some natives, some African thought that doesn't joke with this. They still hold in high esteem the African communication system. So now, Wilson is now saying that for such communities, for such societies that have not allowed the Western culture to seriously dislocate, all right, the communication, the African communication system, then this community hold in high esteem the traditional communication, all right, using the ACS as an avenue to disseminate information, to entertain, to educate the society. Are we together? This is according to Wilson. In 1987, Wilson says African societies with little Western culture dislocation. All right. African society that has not allowed Western culture to dislocate their ACS, then they intend to use the traditional communication system towards all right, disseminate, entertain, and educate. Let's just use abbreviated word. To disseminate, entertain, and educate. All right, the society. All right, this is purely traditional. Yes, this is very, very correct. This is very true. See how some African society that have not allowed the Western culture to dislocate, all right, the African heritage, they still hold in high esteem, passing information through this traditional means of avenue to also entertain and educate the members of the society. Now let's take a step further. Now, Wilson did not just end it here. Wilson still went ahead to lay more emphasis on the fact that the society is responsible for its traditional communication media. All right? It is the choice of the society to either employ the ACF or allow the Western, all right, cultural dislocation. African communication system constitutes an integral part, most important part, the core part of the social cultural heritage of Africa. Let's take that down. African communication system, that's ACS, it does what? It constitutes, it does what? Constitute an integral part of the social cultural heritage of the of Africa. So it's very important. It's a part of Africa and it's so much important. Okay. So what are the characteristics of African communication system? So we have characters, value, very important. Value communication deals with effectiveness of communication. All right. We also have reach. African media are ubiquitous. They are everywhere because they reach many rural people who are not reached by even the most widespread exogenous channel. Also, exogenous channel now is a channel that they're going to embrace African communication systems. All right. So it goes further, reach. All right. It's a channel of change. All right. It's a channel of change. It creates this interpersonal contact with every member of the society. All right. Channel of change. And we have that as that. So let's quickly talk about the classification of the traditional channel of African communication. So some of the we have the traditional as used, all right, in this context refer to cultural institutions, the events, the ceremony, African ancestors, all right, and successors from one generation to the other. All right. Tradition, as we have said earlier, is basically it's a combination of the successors, the arts, the way of life, all right, um, institutions, cultural institutions, and ceremonies. All of these things is embedded in the tradition of the Africans. So now these traditional channels of communications are numerous as it tends to serve specific purpose. All right. Speaking about traditional channel of communication now, they are commonly used to advise. All right. So this is more like a subtopic under the ACS. They are used, they serve specific purpose as a traditional channel of communication. Traditional channel of communication. Okay. They serve specific purpose. Purposes like they advise, inform, they warn, all right? Danger ahead, they warn, they encourage, they also incite people on what, how, when, and where to act. All right. These channels have their numerous, and each of them have specific purposes to serve. Now, according to Akpan in 1977, Akpan said that the likes of Bell, Cannon shoot, all right, Cannon shoots, drums, artifactual communication, folk songs, and proverbs, which may be concluded that traditional media are more visual than audio. Now, according to according to Modern, Modern said that music and rituals, all right, as media of communication in indigenous Nigeria. Yes, we have music and certain rituals. They are media of communication. Certain music passes certain message. All right, certain rituals signify certain gets across certain messages across. These are part of our medium of communication. It says Agbo Aja in 1979 also noted that traditional society of Nigeria communicates more of informal. Yes, communicates more of informal than formal mechanism. The use of songs, dance, symbols, all right, linguistic and marketplace dialogue are very good means of channels. So you have that as that. Communication definitely occurs in different forms. The verbal or non-verbal, oral or written, formal or informal, intentional and unintentional. They are all interactive and do not exist in isolation of one another, definitely. So some of the instruments we have, like I made mention of earlier, we have bell, metal gong, all right, we have handshakers, we have skin drums, and the like. We also have demonstratives, which under that we have musical signal cannon shots, gunshots, whistle call, and so on and so forth. So basically, these are some of the things that help in communication in the ACS and also traditional African communication as well. So here's what we'll call a wrap for tonight. And like I said earlier, this week we are calling the wrap with all classes. And as for next week, we'll be taking we'll be taking more of the keynotes and the practice questions, we're getting them across so that we can focus more on those as we provide it. And by next proper week, we can start our revision classes properly. Thank you very much, everyone. You have a wonderful evening. I believe you're able to gain something. And this next semester, let's ensure to join the classes early so we can cover a lot together at length. Do have a wonderful evening and bye for now.